Hello and welcome to the BigPicture Training. My name is Tom and this video will be an introduction of what we are going to see throughout the whole training materials. Before we begin, I would like to talk a little bit about BigPicture and SoftwarePlant, who is the company standing behind it. BigPicture is a Jira add-on. It means that you can find it on the Atlassian marketplace and you can install it into your Jira. So I assume that you have already a basic knowledge of Jira and you are at least a Jira user. So if you're a Jira user, you will know this interface that is available over here, especially projects menu and especially the create button that allows you to create tickets or issues. I will be using those names together throughout the training. So when you install BigPicture, in addition to the standard menu, you will also get BigPicture here and some items inside this. And the thing you want to know at the beginning is that BigPicture is kind of like an overlay to your Jira. So it brings additional functionalities, but it also uses Jira's data. So it uses the tickets that are in Jira and presents them in a different way, lets you manage them in a different way, lets you work with them in a different way. The first time I came in contact with BigPicture was about 3 years ago, and I immediately fell in love with the tool. I'm a huge fan of this software because I like how it looks like and I like the set of features it brings. I get a feeling that as a project manager, I'm getting everything I need to manage my tasks, my resources properly inside the Jira environment. And throughout those years, I have been working quite a lot with BigPicture. My team has been working with BigPicture as well. We've started to bring the service to our customers of implementing BigPicture in their companies. And we've also started training companies on how to use BigPicture effectively. During my adventure with BigPicture, at some point, I figured that the company standing behind the software comes from Poland, the same country I come from. So obviously I contacted them and we've been in contact ever since. And I gotta tell you, this is the bunch of people you can't go wrong with. They are really friendly. They enjoy what they do. They are very focused on their job. They always seek the customer feedback and search for things that they can improve in their software, features they can add to the software that will bring even more value to the customers. And that's what I love. That's what I love about the company itself. When you go to the SoftwarePlant's website at softwareplant.com, you will notice that there are a bunch of quite famous companies that are using BigPicture software, like Apple, BMW, NASA, Tesla, T-Mobile, Siemens, Samsung, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and so on. If you also go to the Atlassian's marketplace, you will notice that BigPicture is the most popular plugin in project management section. Coming to the partners and solution by industry, you will also notice that there are all kinds of different industries that the tool is being used in. I think there is a huge chance that you will find your company fitting at least one of these industries over here. And I have been working with the BigPicture, as I said, for quite a long time, and I've been working as a consultant for many companies that have been introducing BigPicture into their ecosystem. And I can tell you that it really fits very well almost everywhere. The only thing that might stop you from using it is some key functionality that is missing from it, because as like with every other tool, it's not perfect, and if you have a very specific needs, there is a chance that it will not fit in. But other than that, it's a really great tool to have. So let's have a quick overview of what we are going to go through during the training sessions. We're going to divide the videos into modules, and the modules we are going to be working on will be as follows. The first one is going to be definitely the program manager. So this is the place where you can see all your programs. This is the place where you can manage them, move them around into different statuses like new, started, and closed. You can see the progress of the program, and this is also where you can create new programs. So you might be wondering what a program is. So a program is something created by BigPicture that allows you to keep a subset of your Jira data in one place. So think of a program as a bucket for tickets or issues. This is basically what it is like. So it's kind of similar to a Jira project. So Jira project is a subset of tickets as well. And program is more or less the same, although of course it's being used inside the big picture, and the mapping between programs and Jira projects can exist but doesn't have to. So what that means is you can map one big picture program as one Jira project, but you can also take a subset of several Jira projects and make it into one big picture program. So we will be talking more about this. This is quite an important part of your big picture setup. It's very good to understand what are the pros and cons of each of these solutions, each of these setups. The next thing we are going to look at, and I will quickly skip over here to the sample data program that I have created earlier, is the Gantt chart. So this is something that you would probably more or less expect to see. You get a screen divided in two, and on the left side you have a table view of the tickets that you will be working on. On the right side you get a Gantt chart. So this is the place that will probably be most useful to companies that are working in any waterfall methodologies, because this is where you can create the structure of your tasks or tickets. And by the way, you can override the typical 3-step structure that you are getting from Jira. So these are epics, tasks or user stories and subtasks. Over here you can create a more robust structure, and you can also put your tasks into kind of a timeline. Well, it's basically a Gantt chart, right? So you put the task, you define the start and end date of every task, you define how the task is connected with other tasks, what are the dependencies, and you can also group them, as you can see over here, into children and parents. Next tab or next module we are going to look into is the scope module, which is more or less the left part of the Gantt module. So you don't get a Gantt chart, but you get a table view. And this table view basically gives you the same information that you had on the Gantt. You still have your structure or your hierarchy over here, and you have the data on the right side with different columns. Managing the columns is really easy and quick, and you can add more stuff as you want or as you go. And you can also define different column views. So if you want to quickly switch to a totally different view, you can do it from over here, and it's all definable and customizable. The next one we are going to look into, I will skip board and roadmap for now, is probably the resources. So the resources view is the place where you can see how your people are overloaded or loaded with work. You get a nice timeline with a very nice view. On the left side in the rows you can see the people that are assigned to your program, and you can see what tasks are assigned to every person, what's the capacity, and how the person is loaded with work. So if somebody would be overloaded with the tasks like Alistair is over here, you will see that it highlights in red. You can change the aggregation from monthly to weekly, for example, or even to daily. Although if you change it to daily, you will see that the numbers disappear because they don't fit into the small boxes anymore. But if you switch to time period of 1 month, You will be able to see what's the allocation of every person daily. And obviously it's connected with workload plans, it's connected with holiday plans. So there are actually several different ways that you can influence the capacity of the person. And this is where it all comes into view, and this is where you get to see what is actually happening to every person in your program. This is also where you can very easily manage the tasks that are assigned to people by simple drag and drop. So you can easily assign one task to another person and change the overall allocation. The next module we will be talking about are teams. So teams is a very simple module, but it also gives you quite a lot of important information. So as you might imagine, in teams you can create teams, and in every team you have members of the team, and every member of the team has a membership. So a membership is something that allows you to define the start and end date of the allocation of the person to the team and his or hers availability. You can define many memberships, which allows you, for example, to create a scenario in which the person is allocated for 3 months at 100%, and then he is available to the team only for 50% of his time, for example. You can also create global teams and local teams. So my recommendation is always to use global teams whenever it's possible, and this allows you to overuse the teams in many different programs. If you're working, for example, with your business units as teams, you don't want to create them from scratch. Every time you create a new program, you want to reuse the teams that you already have because they stay the same throughout the life of every program, and you don't want to waste time creating them from scratch every single time. Yeah. The next module we are going to look at are reports. So this is something brand new to BigPicture. As you can see, it's in beta right now, and this is where you can get quite an interesting reporting. So up until 1 month ago, more or less, there was no reporting available in BigPicture basically, and it was quite a big pain for a lot of customers. So SoftwarePlant has been working very hard on creating the reporting that will at least satisfy 80% of the needs that me and you have. So this is how the reporting module came into life, and we will be taking a very detailed look into what you can do over here, what data you can show, and how it can be displayed. The next module we are going to take a look into are risks. So this is something where you get to define the risks for your program or your project, and you get to review them. The risks are presented in a matrix that have 2 axes, and also as a table view under the matrix, whichever you prefer. Every risk is presented with quite a nice risk card. The information you get on this risk card are customizable, so you can define what you want to see over here. Maybe you want to see the person responsible for managing the risk, maybe you want to see the description of the mitigation plan, and so on. Managing risks over here is very easy. You can just drag and drop things between cells of the matrix, or you can change the value of the parameters that are on the risk. So you can change the risk consequence, for example, from low to severe, and you can see that the new item has appeared over here. The next module that we are going to have a look at is the roadmap module. This is the place where you get to define goals and objectives for your program increments, for your iterations, if you drill down into them, and also for your teams on each of these levels, so on the iteration level or on the program increment level. For me, this is a very important tab because I absolutely love the idea of the teams and people being driven by goals and objectives and the mission. So this is the place where you can clearly define it, so that everyone knows where we are going to, what we want to achieve, and how we want to achieve it. And the roadmap module is quite closely connected to the board module that we will definitely have a look at. And currently the BigPicture has two board modules, the old one and the new one. Right now we are having a look at the new one. You can see that it's in beta version, but in my opinion it's already good enough to be used in your day-to-day activities. The new board module is again focused around your program increments and your iterations. It shares the same timeline as the roadmap module. On the right side, you can see the backlog of the tasks that can be used to distribute them between the teams. And with a simple drag and drop, you can assign a task to any team you want. You can also create dependencies between tasks and between different teams, which is very easy and allows you to visualize the places of special focus or special attention. It also brings you quite a unique view of your work, because if you're using BigPicture, you know that there are boards. If you're using Jira, you know that there are boards in Jira as well. So the difference between Jira boards and BigPicture board is that over here you get to see something that is totally unique in Jira. You get to see the distribution of tasks between different teams and different sprints on one screen. So when I'm saying sprints, I actually mean the iterations that can be assigned to sprints. They can be connected to sprints. So iteration 1 might be just sprint 1, iteration 2 might be just sprint 2. And the PIs as program increments coming from the SAFe methodology. If you're not using SAFe, you can use PIs as just any time frame that you want. So I've seen companies using it effectively as quarters, for example, or half a year. So these will be all the most important modules that we are going to have a look at, but we will not forget to check out the administration options that are available to you, and there are basically 3 levels of administration in your BigPicture. We will also have a look at the security settings, and I will explain how the security is connected with Jira and what additional features you get by using BigPicture security. And also, going through all of the modules that I have just talked about, I will make sure to tell you a lot about different scenarios that you can implement in this module, or different ways that you can use this module, because from the trainings I did, I know that this is the knowledge that is most sought for among my companies and among my clients. So I will be sure to share this knowledge with you as well. Thank you for listening to the introduction video. I really hope that we are going to have lots of fun going through all the modules that I have just explained in this video. I also hope that we are going to find together the best way to set up your BigPicture instance to bring the most value to your company and to meet your requirements in the best possible way. Thank you, and see you in the next video.